Hey guys, come join me as I go looking for calcite crystals for my very first time.
Hey guys, I'm over here at a road cut just north of the Arkansas border on the Missouri side, right just a stone's throw away from Oklahoma as well. And I am over here looking for some calcite. I've never gone specifically looking for calcite crystals, so I don't really know exactly what I'm looking for. I know it's going to be covered in dirt, and so I'm going to be looking for the shape, not so much the color or anything like that. It's going to be whitish kind of colored for the most part, but I know everything's going to be covered in dirt, and this is my first time doing it, so I'm going to mess up a few times. But I think once I find my first pocket, my first little batch of it, I'll get the hang of it, and I'll be able to figure it out from there on. So, yeah, you guys are welcome to learn alongside with me. So, discover it as I discover it. So, hopefully we'll find something good. So one of my first thoughts was, since I don't exactly know for sure just yet what it is I'm looking for up in here, why don't I look down here along the ground on all these fallen rocks to see if I can find anything that can resemble a crystal. And so as I was looking down through here and waiting to see if something would catch my eye, like a reflection of a sunlight or something like that, I saw this piece right here with this one. And there are our calcite crystals. So that's what we're here looking for today, are these calcite crystals. So we identify the shape. Everything over here is going to be pretty much the same kind of color. So we're going to have to go off of the shape of what it looks like. So that'll be how we find our material today. So let me just pull a few of these pieces. That's got some calcite on it. You see it running through there a little bit. Maybe we could chip some of that off. That looks like it might be a nodule right here. Set that down for now. This piece right here, I believe it had some on it. Yep. Okay. And I brought gloves, so I really should use some gloves. And that's got a little bit on it right there. All right. Well, this is just the start, so what I'm going to probably do is start pulling, look for seams of it, if I can find it, and then start pulling out a few of these rocks. I'm down here towards the end. I don't want to pull along the wall because there's a whole lot of stuff overhead, and I don't want anything to fall down on top of me. So I'm going to look around over here at first to get started, and we'll just take it from there. So here's another rock that has some calcite on it. And again, these pieces are all just laying down here. I've seen quite a few. See, there's a small little bit right in there. There's been quite a few pieces that I've seen reflecting some sunlight back up at me. So we got some in there, going through a little seam. All right, now that we've identified some down here on the ground, let's start looking for some seams up along the wall, if we can, and see if we can pull some pockets out, or find a pocket to pull some material out. Nice little piece. So all these pieces that are down here are falling from up here, so we just got to find where they're falling from and start working that material. So I just identified a rock. Some of these sparkles right along here caught my eye, and it brought me over to this little pocket that's right here. And I'm going to try to pull this out. I'm going to pull that out and see if I can't see where this leads, because this is all embedded on a really big rock. It's going to be really hard to try to extract that with the tools that I brought today. But still, maybe I'll be able to get some of this calcite off of here. I'm not sure. Here's a nice little piece with a small plate of calcite crystals on top of it. I apologize about all the background noise. Like I said, I'm at a road cut. I'm probably a good 80 feet or so away from cars, so it's safe. I've got my vehicle parked right over there guardrail right there. And I'm down far enough away from them, but you can still hear them in the background, so I apologize about that. Here is a rock that has a small pocket inside of it, which you can make out crystals in there. Apologize, it's a heavier rock, and so it's kind of hard to hold it still. So I just discovered this little piece right here. It's got a big piece of calcite right there, and it's kind of running through. So what I'm going to do, after I finish working my area over here where I'm working at, I'm going to come right back over here and try to work in this spot and see if there's anything back in these little pockets that might be worth hanging on to. So what I'm finding is that I expected these rocks to be very hard, which they are, but I think when they used the heavy machines to do all the cutting out of this rock wall over here to make this road cut, I think it created a lot of internal fracturing and stuff, because these rocks are basically, they're falling apart very easily, just like that. So they're easy to pull apart with just your hands, and I'm finding I don't even really need to use, sorry if you can't hear me, I'm finding I don't even really need to use a hammer or anything like that. I expected to have to use a hammer and chisel and all that fun stuff, but apparently I could just grab things and just move them because of all the internal fracturing going on with the cuts. So that was kind of messy and sloppy, and there's a hole back here for a little pocket that I wanted to check out, and it's filling in right now with all this loose dirt. But so yeah, if you ever make it out here, it's not as difficult as what you think as far as like working the material, because of all the internal fracturing from the deep heavy or from the heavy machinery that they use to make all the road cuts with. See how it's just all crumbling apart right here in your hand? Okay, so I just removed a lot of the overburden. There is that calcite crystal right there. And I want to start flipping over some of these rocks to get a look at them. Put that in the bag. That's a little piece. Here's a big piece of calcite. I'll put that in the bag. Nice. A few little broken pieces. A little square. Several little broken chips. Yeah, so keep working until you find a pocket. I bet this will look real pretty cleaned up. See, it's covered in dirt. But I think what's underneath the top layer of all that dirt is our crystals. So I look, from my viewpoint, I look down like this right here. But when I bent over to pick something up, I saw some crystals underneath. And there we go. Sometimes we just have to change our perspective on things. So I cleared off the overburden up here, and I started working these rocks right here. And I had a feeling that if I just keep working the rocks, I'll eventually open up a pocket, which is what I have right here. Sorry for that truck that drove by. So I have a pocket right here. I don't know if you can see inside of there or not, but there's some nice crystals in there. This right here broke off the top of it. Okay, so I just cleared out this little opening, and all of this right here are calcite crystals. I don't know if you can make that out or not. I'm going to try to remove that out of that pocket if I can. So I managed to remove a lot of the rock that was covering it up. And I don't really have a cloth with me, so what I did is a lot of this smaller material, I packed it around it. That way all the rocks that were falling down from up above it, it was covered by things that are natural to its environment. And so all the crystals are protected right here on this piece. See some of the smaller, like dusty pieces and everything. So it's basically the bottom of this right here is just covered in crystals. Here's a little chunk right there. It's dirty, but you can still make out quite a few crystals on there. And there's a few other broken pieces over here that are loaded with crystals as well. So now I'm going to try to remove this piece right here. It's all connected to a large rock, which is right here. That's buried, so I don't know how big that rock is. So I might need to remove some more of this over top before I can extract this big rock. We'll see. Well, I got that piece out, but the calcite is mainly all on the tip of this big rock. I thought it was going to go underneath, but all these shapes that were down there in the shadow and covered in dirt that I thought were like little tips of the calcite crystals were really just part of the host rock. Kind of a teaser, but it was a lot of work, but I'm still glad I got that piece out. It looks really nice. So, I'm still here. I'm about to give up here. I'm going to give it about another 15 minutes, and I'm going to go over to the other side of the highway to see what that's like. And I started moving. I just want to move the rest of these bigger rocks that are right here, just to see what I can find in there, see if I find any more little pockets. And then my very top rock that I flipped over, check that out. It was all the way back in there. Really cool. I've been over here for about an hour and a half or so. I'm going to call her quits over here for now. I'm going to try the southbound side and see if I can find anything over there. So this is just an exploratory trip. Now that I have a little bit better idea as to what I'm doing, hopefully I'll make better progress over there on that side. Otherwise, I'm going to take everything home, we'll clean it up, and I'll show you what everything looks like at the end of the video. So I'm over here on the south side now on this road cut. I'm parked up there around that corner. It seems a little bit more safe to park on the northbound side than it does on the southbound side. Southbound side is much more at an angle, so you feel a little more unsteady in your vehicle, and all the rocks are really loose, so whenever you move, you feel like you're going to just sit there and sink yourself. But I got four-wheel drive, so I should be okay. And so yeah, I'm going to start digging around for a little bit. We'll play around for about 45 minutes, maybe an hour, and then I'm going to call her quits and head home so I can be home for supper. So yeah, let's look at it. So right off the bat, I started finding some of these calcite pieces right here on the ground. These are pretty dark. They got some good smoke to them. Here's another one that's a little bit more like a root beer color. But there's a lot of these rocks, like, check out the size of those crystals right there. That's huge on this big giant rock. The seam goes down through here. You see little pieces of it, more of it up there coming around. Big pieces here, seam going through, more of it there. Beautiful piece of calcite. See where I broke off their smoky part of it, but still got that nice big cube intact with a bunch of smaller cubes. Been finding a lot of these little pockets like this right here. This rock probably weighs a good solid 400 pounds or so, but it's loaded with all kinds of pockets around it. Some huge calcite crystals in there. So all along here, going along, there's a whole vein coming up here. All underneath here are all crystals. I'm hoping to be able to extract some of that. See that? There's a lot of them broken loose in there, but hopefully I'll be able to get at least some of that out. We'll see. So I just pulled this one right here, right out of the wall. The rock is heavy. Pulled it right out of there. I still got plenty more to go through right there. There's a pocket. It goes right back there in that hole and into that rock. Quite a few crystals in there still. I don't know if I'm going to be able to break all that up today or not. I just managed to set this big rock free. Put all the little cubes, all those little calcite crystals. It was right there, and I just got my pry bar underneath there and was able to get it up. But the rock itself probably weighs a good 60-70 pounds at least, so I'm going to have to try to break that down because it's a long hike back up that hill on loose gravel. I'm going to have a whole lot to carry. Still, it's a beautiful piece. So here's a few more of my finds. We'll definitely have to take this home and get it washed up. See what it looks like without all the dirt on there. Well guys, I'm pretty pooped. It's been a long day and I'm getting kind of tired. Been lifting a lot of big heavy rocks, and I'm big and heavy, so the two just don't mix. So let's head home and let's clean some of these up and take a look at them.
To clean my crystals, I first rinse them off with a hose outside. Then I used dish soap and water and scrubbed them with a brush. After that I rinsed off the soap, then let them dry in the sun. For the next few minutes I'm going to show part of the process of cleaning them up. Then after that I'm just going to show a few of my favorite finds. This piece right here actually turned out to be one of my more favorite pieces. Let's take an extra minute or two to take a look at it from different angles. I love the root beer mountain range on this one side. Let's take a quick look to see how translucent this piece is. From this angle, it looks like ice. Some of my pieces even have some very beautiful rainbows in them.
Thank you all so much again for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care. God bless.